It was me. My bad. Got a little distracted. All right, so, man, there's so much. I didn't want to say nothing, but I really didn't like how you disrespected the newly elected trustee. But what I want to say is it's clear that you got questionable spending habits. You got a failed business venture. Your restaurant was deemed nasty. And it's proven while you're talking about her education, we can't even verify yours. But since you sold for women, I I already knew by the way you handled Fania, but for you to sit up here and disparage that woman after giving her that fake ass congratulations in the beginning because you thought she was gonna get what you wanted. Here's the thing, I wanna educate you. Stephanie Wiedemann is a 20-year employee and ain't none of her big business ventures ever failed. On top of that, she serves as a chief of staff and she didn't fuck her way to the top. She's efficient in budgets and don't hide her deeds. She is efficient in organization. She served as a temporary interim executive director for the Dalton Park District until she stepped aside to help her daughter become something you'll never be, which is a married woman. And her daughter moved away to Texas, and when her daughter moved away to Texas, she went to help her daughter, but I done heard about 4 or 5 people tell me how they had to take care of yours. And so while you've been a half-ass mayor, but if you wanted to get up here and earn some respect, then you should have been able to respond to Lori Lightfoot's report about credit cards. You want to talk about them not coming to work, but we've been hearing about what you've been doing while you've been at work, and I'm going to give away the rest of my time because I think on behalf of the Black Cookout Association that we would better take a vote that we're going to exchange your black ass for Stephanie to be the new member of our. So all those in favor say, all those against it say nay, all those in favor say aye. You gone, bitch.
So Thornton Township looked like it was ready to get back to business tonight after a recent government shutdown, but then a brawl broke out.
Imagine being these local news reporters. Imagine thinking your whole life that you were going to be a serious journalist, that you were going to cover war zones and whatnot, but then your father-in-law gets you a job at a local news station and you get put on what is supposed to be the boring-ass beat known as the Thornton Township beat. And all of a sudden, Tiffany Henyard emerges. She gets appointed to the position to replace the previous head of the township. She starts stealing money out the wazoo, the meetings become chaotic, and all of a sudden you have to issue this statement to open up your local news segment, which is, it was going to be back to business, regular ordinary Thornton Township business, but then a brawl broke out. Then they started fighting, and guess what? The super mayor engaged in said brawl. She was actually fighting people. It's absolute madness. I was working through the Lightfoot report to give you a very detailed view on all the different monies that she stole from her position as the mayor of the village of Dalton, but then she started fighting people. It's crazy. It's madness. We're going to talk about this today, and I just want to point out for the demonetization gods, there's no fight. There's no reason for you to demonetize this video. Just relax. Just calm down over there. This is newsworthy. Nobody got hurt. It's not that serious, but it is that serious, and there was a fight, and it's absolute madness. And we're gonna get into it. But before we do, I will remind you that my friend Devin Tracy, his parents lost their family home in the California wildfires. He's actually started a GoFundMe to help them get back on their feet. If you're a fan of mine or a fan of Devin's and you can donate, please do. If you don't want to or you don't like Devin for whatever reason, I totally understand. I'm just trying to help a friend.
It was a heated meeting from the beginning with Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend put on administrative leave, but when someone in the audience called her a name, that's when things got out of control.
So first of all, saying that this was a heated board meeting, obviously the understatement of the century. Secondly, and I think this is absolutely crucial, hi Regina, how you doing? Obviously an attractive local newswoman. Listen, I would never comment on this, but if you guys out there in the audience saw me not commenting on it, you would comment on it, and I just have to give a voice to the people out there in the audience. So you're welcome. I, like the super mayor, do everything I do for the people.
But everything we do for the people. But we under attack. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all. We, us, me and my administration. So don't y'all ever talk to them like that. Don't y'all ever tell them that they was told what to say.
With Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend put on administrative leave, but when someone in the audience called her a name, that's when things got out of control.
You gone.
This happened right after a community activist called Tiffany Henyard an expletive.
So first of all, this man right here is the hero of the hour. However, the local news did not give him credit where credit is due, and that is rather unfortunate. They not only just showed a small snippet of what he said, but they also blurred his mouth and then cut off the sound, and honestly, I think that's a bit ridiculous because the word that he used to describe Tiffany A. Henyard was in fact the word bitch. Now, again, it is a swear word, but it's a swear word that you're able to say on television. It's not the worst among the swear words, and the way that they blurred it made it seem much, much worse than it actually was. Here's some other footage of that so that you guys can hear it.
A fight erupting in the back of the room. Fists, kicks, people jumping on top of tables, monitors smashed.
So this is obviously absolutely crazy, and of course the demonetization fairy is going to try to demonetize this if I show you some of the punches and whatnot, but make no mistake about it, there was in fact a brawl. But I just want you to look right there at this guy who's up on a table throwing elbows backwards into the TV, smashing that monitor, causing more and more damage in the Thornton Township. And to be clear, the village of Dalton is where we cover a lot of her antics as a super mayor, but this Thornton Township position is actually the one that pays her around $250,000. I think her salary is something like $225,000, and the reason things have gotten so contentious here is because essentially they did a trick in order to have a caucus to get Tiffany Henyard's name off the ballot so she can't win re-election for this position. So obviously there's a lot of tensions around the Thornton Township that not a lot of people are talking about because they think of her as just the mayor of the village of Dalton, but this is madness from top to bottom, and the super mayor's allies, by the way, are being yanked out of the government one by one, and I find it absolutely fascinating that these very same allies are attacking people at the Thornton Township meetings because she was defending them earlier on, saying that they're qualified, they're good people, and they're just being targeted for no reason. But apparently, if you go after Tiffany A. Henyard, her boyfriend, and a bunch of these other thugs will try to physically assault you. It's absolute chaos in every possible way, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of 100% here for it, except for the fact that obviously the taxpayers are totally getting ripped off by this woman that's stealing all their money.
Everything, it was scary, it was horrible. That's an embarrassment.
It should have never come to blows, and Tiffany should have never got involved.
It was the public comment portion of Tuesday's Thornton Township board meeting. Earlier in the evening, the room erupted with applause.
To put Kamal Woods and William Moore on administrative leave.
When the board came back from closed session with the announcement that Henyard's boyfriend, Kamal Woods, who runs the township's at-risk youth program, and William Moore, another employee, would both be put on paid administrative leave immediately.
I don't understand why they're on leave with pay, because essentially nothing changes for them.
So yeah, prior to the brawl, the super mayor's boyfriend, who's also receiving a check from the Thornton Township, again, very corrupt, and another one of her allies, ended up getting put on paid administrative leave. Now, a lot of people were actually outraged that they were being paid to not work because they didn't want them there, they wanted them fired. But the fact of the matter is, these left-wing government entities basically force you to put these people on paid administrative leave, and that's the best way to neutralize them, especially when they're being accused of mismanaging funds. They also hired an independent auditor in order to look into the finances, and based on the fact that we saw from the Lightfoot report that Tiffany A. Henyard was doing crazy things like writing $500,000 plus checks, just signing them herself, which is illegal, and paying vendors, not to mention hiding money with credit card purchases, this is a good idea 100%. But obviously, this was what was leading to the buildup and to the chaos that later broke out in this fateful meeting.
People jumping on top of tables, monitors smashed, with Henyard and her boyfriend in the middle of the melee.
Now look, right there we got a little bit of a taste of the brawl, a taste of the chaos. I'm going to link this local news segment in the description of this video so you could check it out for yourself, because obviously I'm going to get age restricted and all sorts of punishments from the YouTube overlords if I show you this viral footage that's absolutely crazy. However, there is another angle that is going viral on social media where you can actually see the super mayor herself decide that when she sees a bunch of men brawling, that she is going to cut in order to get her licks in. And I will remind you that despite the fact that the super mayor looks like she's 20 years old, she's actually 40 years old. And in this altercation that she jumped into, again, a fight amongst men, she managed to lose her weave, lose one of her shoes, lose whatever shred of dignity she had left, which honestly was zero, so nothing lost right there, and she got knocked to the ground. So again, absolute disaster for the super mayor from top top to bottom, and it is a perfect example of why this woman should be nowhere near the levers of power.
The board also approved an independent investigator and/or forensic auditor to look into the use of certain grant money and possible township funds related to the at-risk youth program and the outreach department. Henyard called it political retaliation. She's threatening a lawsuit.
Oh, I'm so happy, y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the lawsuit. But anyway, it is a motion. It is a motion. You know it.
Again, she is attacking people. Her boyfriend is attacking people. They're getting into brawls in these meetings. It's absolute chaos. And this was all over a name-calling incident, which, by the way, I'm not saying it's appropriate or kind or nice or whatever to call somebody names, but when your government officials are stealing as much money as Tiffany A. Henyard is stealing from you, I understand the frustration from the community activists. Now, of course, she has been removed from the ballot in the Thornton Township. That is her primary paid position. She has also gotten into an issue where she's being held in contempt of court for not issuing liquor licenses. Again, something that we were going to cover another time, but in addition to that, she's also up for primary re-election in the month of February. She's looking like she's going to lose, and finally, the people in the village of Dalton look like they're going to get rid of her. Finally, the Thornton Township looks like they're going to cast her aside, and I couldn't be happier. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I do benefit greatly from the super mayor being in office, committing all these crimes, stirring up all this chaos. So for me personally, for this YouTube channel, it definitely hurts me, but for the people who I've actually grown to appreciate, and the other local government officials who, again, I've grown to appreciate, who have been fighting the good fight against the super mayor, I couldn't be happier for them. But for me, I mean, her being in office for the next 100 years is probably the thing that is going to lead me to be able to buy a home. So yeah, maybe, just maybe, I personally want her to be in office. But that being said, this is the super mayor. This is the product of putting this woman in this position, and make no mistake about it, she was not elected to be the head of the Thornton Township Board of Supervisors. She was appointed there after the previous guy died, and they thought it would be great to have a young black woman in that position. So DEI definitely failed right here. And before you blame the voters in the village of Dalton, I will remind you that they did vote her in initially in an election with very low turnout, but they actually set up a recall election, voted her out of office during the recall election, and she managed to use a judicial maneuver to get that vote invalidated in order to remain in power. So nobody wants her in this particular area except for the people that benefit directly from her corruption and all the different crazy people that show up to these meetings, and they're actively working to get her out. But obviously the system is set up that when you win election, it's very hard to remove you from office. But anyway, those are just my thoughts about this. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you liked the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the super mayor getting into a brawl, an actual fist fight. Till next time.